This is Coyote News.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, it's National Signing Day for the football program. Coyote News' Brandon Noel speaks with a member of the coaching staff about this year's signees. I'm Kayla Dorhout.
And I'm Levi Goots. Find out what makes the USD women's tennis team so unique. And in Cassidy's Corner, Cassidy gives us her take on this past weekend's NHL All-Star Game. But first, the headlines with Crystal.
Former Raiders quarterback Ken Stabler died in July from colon cancer, also suffered from CTE, according to Dr. Ann McKee. Stabler decided to donate his brain for examining before his death, and after examining his brain, McKee concluded that Stabler suffered from stage 3 CTE due to repeated blows to the head during his career. The Denver Broncos have sent rookie practice squad safety Ryan Murphy home after he and his brother were detained and questioned yesterday as part of a prostitution sting. Murphy was eventually released and wasn't charged in the incident. Head coach Gary Kubiak says it would be best for the team to send him home at this time as they prepare for the Super Bowl this Sunday. Clarke Flames defenseman Dennis Wideman has been suspended 20 games by the NHL for his hit on lineman Don Henderson in last week's home loss to Nashville. Wideman looked to intentionally hit Henderson on his way to the bench after being knocked down earlier in his shift. Wideman's eligible to appeal his suspension. And those are your headlines.
It's National Signing Day for the USD football team. Coyote News' Brandon Noel has more on the new Coyote football players. Brandon.
Thanks, Caleb. The Coyote football team got 31 players to sign or commit as a preferred walk for next year. I spoke with recruiting coordinator Matthew Middleton earlier today about what makes this class stand out.
With Coach Glenn retiring and Coach Nielsen taking over, have you noticed anything different about their recruiting strategies?
Well, Coach Nielsen and Coach Glenn share extremely similar thoughts about, the recruiting class and who they want to bring in. It's all about character and athleticism. So, the class will just add on to what we have already here at USD. Some guys with some more speed and things. But, guys of character, guys that, want to get their degree, and guys that want to compete at extremely high level to win championships. So, as I say, this class adds to the foundation that's already been built here.
Great to hear. And, what's something that feels, what's this class going to feel like for you guys? The 2016, is this class bigger this year? What's all behind it feeling?
It's a really good feeling. It's a class put together in a short amount of time. Some relationships had already been established, and then new relationships built fairly quickly, with our coaching staff that did an extremely tremendous job of just talking to the families and the recruits and, getting that sense of comfortableness to be, a Coyote. So, I don't think there'll be a huge difference, maybe, talent elevation because it creates more competition with the new class. But I don't think as far as, a difference, maybe more wins with more competitiveness. These guys on the board behind me here, they have played in, either a state championship game or playoff game. So to bring more of that experience here to the U will be great.
Thanks, Brandon. Coach Nielsen's first recruiting includes players from 12 different states, including 5 players from South Dakota, 4 from Nebraska, 4 from Minnesota, and 2 from Iowa. 16 offensive players and 15 defensive players make up the class. USD returns 49 lettermen from last year's team, and these 31 will look to join them beginning next season.
The Coyote men's basketball team is currently sitting at 8th place in the Summit League standings and looks to improve that standing tomorrow night as they take on Fort Wayne in the Dakota Dome. The men lost to Nebraska Omaha last Saturday 96-83, which was their 3rd loss in a row. The Coyotes still remain 2 games ahead of last place Western Illinois and for the 8th and final spot in the Summit League tournament. And they are only 1 game back from both Oral Roberts and Denver. 8 women from 6 different countries are all coming together to play for USD's women's tennis team. Our own Abby Schieffer talked to some of the players about their thoughts on what it's like to be part of such a diverse team.
From Germany to Scotland to England, USD's tennis team has left their families and came to America, where they had to face many adjustments. Sophomore player Maria Pandia says she is struggling with our country's food.
The food is a lot different here, good and bad ways, but I do definitely miss food when I come here, and then when I go back home I ask my mum to cook me a nice British roast dinner.
The women are not only learning academics and the American culture, but they are also learning about other cultures.
Even though the women are from many different countries around the world, they all come together to bring something different and unique to the team.
That everyone's from different places in Europe, and I think that's really interesting because you learn lots of different things about people and their cultures. I would have never met any of these people if I just stayed at home in England. I never would have met people from Poland or Serbia, for example.
For Coyote News, I'm Abby Schieffer.
In Cassidy's Corners this week, she gives us her thoughts on this past weekend's NHL All-Star Game. Cassidy.
The name John Scott was nothing but an average John name to any NHL fan prior to this past weekend's All-Star Game. But after an unlikely sequence of events, the 6'8" enforcer became the most talked about player on the ice. The NHL brought about a new format to this year's All-Star Game, where the fans voted for the captains, including John Scott. After what seemed like months of controversy leading up to the weekend in Nashville, John Scott was named MVP of the NHL's All-Star Game, thanks to the internet and the fans. Scott scored twice to help the Pacific team win the 3-on-3 tournament. Scott's story continued to play out as he was traded down to the AHL minor league, but it was his fortitude and the support of his fans that gave this once disregarded player a weekend he'll never forget. The fans thought this would be a way to poke fun at the NHL, but all it did was start about a debate: who belongs in the showcase game? I believe that the All-Star Weekends meant for the best players, and even the ones you wouldn't expect in the NHL, to show off their skills for the fans, because some fans in certain parts of the country don't get to see the stars play every day. An East Coast versus West Coast All-Star Game format gives fans a chance to see the stars play together in a relaxed and fun environment. John Scott's true character came out after numerous interviews revealed just how much hockey means to him. At the end of the day, the All-Star Game appeals to the average ticket-paying fan, whether it's the Stars, who also wanted Scott at the game, or the enforcers taking the spotlight. I think that it's better for when the game is played and the politics are just left in the stands. And that's Cassidy's Corner.